Welcome back. In this quick video, I just want to show you the last case that you would think about the use effect. And this has to do with promises and asynchronous actions. So for example, if you want to, let's say, make an asynchronous action, for example, fetching the books from your database and loading them into your web browser. This is an asynchronous operation. That means you are going to make like a call, an API call, like an HTTP. For example, you are going to, let's say, try to fetch the data from an API, and this thing could take time, right? So for example, you like 1 second, 2 seconds, and so on. Anyways, any asynchronous operation that you would do in your use effect, you need to think about it like because you need to follow the best practices as much as you can. Let me, by the way, here's the code from the previous video. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. For example, I'm going to delete this function, delete this button as well, and delete this thing right here, these two parts, as well as this part right here. Okay, and by the way, leaving an empty parentheses like it is the same thing as deleting it. Okay, that's pretty much it. So what I will do here, I'm just gonna create a variable, for example, is data fetched, okay, or something like that. Okay, and set is data fetched, okay. And by the way, this should be a use state, and what we can do, we can is make it false. Okay, so what we have did right here, or even if you don't need to make use of the use state, okay, if you don't like my point here is that you need a boolean variable, okay, whether it's a use state or you have used the use state or not. So what is the thing that I'm going to do? I'm going to create a function called fetch books, okay, and it should be an for example, we can say it's an asynchronous, but we are not going to make any asynchronous operation over here. We're not going to fetch the books from somewhere and so on. I just want to show you the use effect. When you make an asynchronous operation inside the use effect, you need to cancel that operation when the use state is finished. Okay, so what we want to do right here, we need to declare variable, which is, for example, it could be, for example, this name right here is data fetched, and we can make it true. Okay, and here what I will do, I will say if is data fetched, if this is true, I will call my fetch books array or this function right here. So if this is true, I want to call it. And here, whatever we are going to return from our use effect, it should be a function to clear up our asynchronous operation. Again, we are assuming that we are going to fetch our books, and this should be an asynchronous operation, right? So we need to cancel, we need to clear this asynchronous operation once we are finished from our use effect. And to do that, we have to return a function. This function should be responsible for cleaning up our asynchronous call. So the only possible case that we are going to make this operation, we are going to fetch our books, is if our data fetch is true. So if we make it false, then we are going to cancel it. So we can say is data fetch should equal to false. And this is how you can let's say we can go ahead and cancel or clear our asynchronous operation that we have right here. And by the way, if you are wondering why I haven't used this variable right here as a use state, well, it is just a matter of my own preferences. You can use it as a use state hook, or you can declare it as a local variable like so. So again, we are first of all declaring a variable, and it is boolean. It should be a boolean. Then we are checking if this boolean is, let's say, if it's true, then we are going to fetch our books. And once our books got called and we have them already. Now we are just gonna return this function right here that will be responsible for cleaning up our use effect hook, and it will just make it false right here because we don't need to this will just cancel any subscription for any asynchronous operation. Again, this is, by the way, if you don't add this, for example, if you don't add this thing right here, okay, and you stick with calling the function, that won't change anything. Okay, your code will still be working as expected. But again, here is just the best practices that you need to add in a real world application. Okay, so this is how you can clean up your asynchronous operation inside your use effect. Of course, I will give you the opportunity to read further about it, but this is the only thing that I need to mention. With that being said, I will see you in another one.